Nick. He's Joe. He's in Ottawa, and I'm out here on the farm. Coming to you, covering, let me rephrase that, covering all kinds of things you're interested in, and even some you didn't know you were interested in. Okay, we were talking about before, we were talking about Chrystia Freeland and building back. That was in the last segment. This one, you know, Joseph, over the course of the time that we have spent together as co-hosts on this show, a little over 2 years now, if you include the first ruminations of our shows together, we've talked a fair amount about taxes. But there's something about this government that just makes me lose my mind when it comes to taxes. They, like anybody with any common sense, would say, okay, making things more expensive right now is a bad idea. People are struggling. We have to supplement their income with different, programs, whether it's the CERB benefit or whatever it is, right? Employment where they pay some of the salary of the employer so the employers can keep them on through these hard times. The last thing they would do is say, oh, I know, let's raise taxes. Let's make it even more expensive. Because like every other time they raise taxes, who is it that it hurts the most? It's always the middle and lower class, the people who can least afford it. Because if you raise, let's say if you take gas from, was it now $1.05, $1.06, and all of a sudden it's $1.70, the people who, are in the upper class, they might grumble about it, but they'll pay it. They'll go on. It won't affect them. They've got the money in the bank to be able to cover that. But if you're working for $15 an hour out here in the valley, driving 30 miles to go to work every morning, and every 2 or 3 days you got to put gas in the car, that extra 70 cents a liter all of a sudden starts to add up. And before long, it becomes a real burden that you didn't have to go through if the government had its head screwed on straight. So it's just kind of, I don't know how to phrase it without saying the same things over and over again. It's unnecessary. It's uncalled for. It's bad leadership, and it's just destructive.
Well,
it destroys people.
Well, Nick, we were talking before about the government now promising to rebuild the economy, to build it better. Is that the phrase that they were using?
Yep.
So, but if you want a taste of what building it better entails, this is it. Higher taxes. This is the very first, while they're on the verge of convening a consultation, allegedly, to determine how to rebuild better the economy that they themselves have destroyed. The very first act, while they're talking about convening these consultations, is to raise taxes. I mean,
yes.
I don't think that I or you, Nick, or anyone else have to say anything more than that. If you hear that and you're not appalled, if you hear that and you don't get it, you don't see the problem, there aren't red lights flashing all around you, then you will never understand the problems out there. You will never understand what's going on. This is so appallingly bad for the government to do. I mean, they should take it. They should take what used to be a page from the medical profession and follow the advice and say, the first thing that you should do is no harm. Do no harm. That's the very first. You want to help, you want to heal, that's the first thing you should do. No harm. But raising taxes,
they don't seem to care.
Raising taxes in this environment, I mean, I feel like just, taking my headphones off, turning the microphone off and going, I give up. You guys win. I give up. I'm just looking for my cabin, Nick. We're gonna be moving out to your farm and building a cabin out there. That's it. I'm done. Finished. I can't fight this anymore. You guys win.
Yeah.
And have a nice life in the world that you are creating. And if you guys out there are going to let them do it, there's going to be an election soon. How much? If I'm a betting man, Nick, I'm betting that the Liberals get back in, and this time with a majority.
And the sad part is, I don't know what it's going to take. Like, how many times you got to beat them over the head in order to get them to understand that you just can't keep this up?
Well,
when does reality come home to roost?
Nick, you're asking the wrong question. I think you're focusing on the wrong party here. And I don't mean political party. I mean the wrong group of people. You're asking, what's it going to take to wake these guys up? And you're referring to the Liberals or the government. Because, they're not all... the Conservatives might be better, but marginally so. And they're not in government.
Yeah, it's not like they're light years ahead.
And remember, they're not in government right now, federally here. One wonders how differently they would behave if they were in government. I'm not convinced that they would be behaving a whole lot differently than the current Liberal government is. But be that as it may, the real culprits here, and I'm sorry, I'm not going to pull any punches here, Nick. The real culprits are the people, you and me, who sit idly by and just take it. And, I'm not counseling insurrection or anything like that. But, where are our leaders, who are opening up their windows up from the 10th story, sticking their head out in the alleyway and yelling, "I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore." Well, it just seems that there are so few of us. And I get frustrated, Nick, because I talk to people who get it, who don't care enough to get involved. And they just figure, well, there's nothing I can do, so therefore. And it's moments like this when I look at this and I see what the government is doing, raising taxes, more regulation, at the exactly the same moment that they're saying they recognize the pain that Canadians are feeling as a result of the economic devastation, not just due to COVID, but due to your poorly thought through policies in response to COVID, that at the very moment that they're talking sympathetically, they're reaching into our pockets, they're patting us on the back with one hand or they're hugging us in sympathy, and while they're hugging us, they're robbing us. And it's just wrong. It's just wrong. I can't say it any more clearly than that. It's just wrong.
Yep. And on every level I can think of. And the taxation is supposed to be for things that you and I cannot do for ourselves. Defend the borders, man the ports, deal with countries on an international level to do trade deals and so on. That's what taxes are for. But what they use them for is everything else as well. Like, look, I know I have a bias. I want to see the military get the equipment it needs, but how much money have we blown that could go in a dozen different envelopes on COVID? And now they're going to blow another $100 billion. It just blows my mind.
Well, Nick, I don't mind, like you. I'm a citizen of this country. I derive certain benefits because I'm a citizen of this country, and I pay taxes, and I don't mind paying taxes because that's one of the things that good citizens do. They pay taxes, they participate, they pull, they pull their weight. But I'm tired of pulling other people's weight. I'm almost speechless here, Nick. Okay, I don't mind paying taxes, but in the circumstances you're asking me to pay more taxes at the very same time that you're saying that the former, now Governor General, is going to be receiving, as a matter of her right, because she was Governor General, $200,000 a year in expense allowance and $160,000 pension every year for life. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. I'm a monarchist. I believe in all that stuff. I support the monarchy. But there's something obscene about this, Nick. There's something fundamentally obscene about going to taxpayers in the current environment and saying, we need you to pay more tax. And what are they going to tell you? They're going to tell you with the this carbon tax, the carbon tax. You need to pay more tax because the earth is going to be it's in danger. We need to save the earth. Well, whether I believe that or not, Nick, that's not where my taxes are going. My taxes are going to paying the former Governor General $160,000 a year pension for life. That's where my taxes are going. So even what you're saying isn't even true. No, okay, I get it. Okay, hang on. I'm massaging my temples, Nick, okay? I'm calming down. Okay?
I can just see you doing it.
Nick, I get it. I'm just one taxpayer. You're just another taxpayer. In the big scheme of things, okay, my taxes are not paying for Julie Payette. Not really. Okay, they're going to this and they're going to that. But it's the principle of it. It's the optics of it. Okay?
Joseph, for a government who's so worried about optics, it's funny how it never crosses their mind that this would be bad optics. You would think that'd be the first thing to think of, not the last.
Well, but why, Nick, why are they not punished for this at the ballot box? Now, maybe they will be ultimately, but I just don't see the ballot. I don't see the polling moving in any direction sufficient for me to have confidence that the people of this country are going to rise up in righteous indignation and say enough is enough.
Well, it's funny you mentioned polls. I just wanted, there's one I use called the poll tracker. It blends a whole bunch. It's put out by CBC, so take it with a grain of salt, but it blends a whole bunch of different polls together, so you don't have to go look at Ipsos Reid and Nanos and all these other ones. Let's see. Oh, my God. Okay, according to this, let's see. The latest poll says the Liberals are up by 0.7% to 36.4%. The Tories are down to 30.7%. That's a drop of 0.2 points. The Green are up by 6.6 tenths of a point. Nobody's moved more than a point. But the fact the Liberals are going up, even at all, like a fraction of a percentage point, is just enough to make you blow your mind. I just can't get it. How do people not... Is this really a country where the only time people care about politics is when 2 weeks before they go to the polls?
I don't know, Nick. But, I know we were talking about taxes, but, you want a very clear example, illustration of what the current Liberal government is like. Okay? All you have to do is look at